Inshallah, I will start with a few words. Actually, it will not end up being few words because uh, since he passed away, Farouk, I mean, I've been thinking about him because of my association with him. I would say deep association with him, and I, I was thinking to myself, I could write a book on him. So when I can write a book on him, uh, I thought, no, I cannot take that much time in a gathering like this. So I jotted down some points last night until Fajr time. And then I went to sleep. And it came out to 20 points. And it's not going to take a lot of time. And just sorted out what are the most important things I can say about him. His daughters don't know much about his early life, or hardly about his early life. And then many brothers who join this halaka, they do not know this person. First, I will start with. So let me take the opportunity, since possibly I know him the most among my batchmates, uh, and you will understand when I start talking. And then whoever wants to speak, Badrul is here. I'm sure he will have things to say. Amir Hussain is here, and whoever else wants to speak about him, will give opportunity. So I'll start with the email of his younger daughter, Shayan. It was sent to everybody, but those who may not have seen it. Farouk Amin uh, passed away at around 8 p.m. around on June 12th, Dhaka time, at Health and Hope Hospital. His elder daughter, Sanam, was with him. Sanam is here also. Sanam is with him. He lives in Australia, to my knowledge. He had been living with his sister, Dr. Rokia. I'm shortening it. He had recently been hospitalized for aspiration pneumonia. We expected him to recover as he was making progress since coming home from the hospital. This was about a month ago. He went to hospital, and 2 weeks ago, maybe a little more, he was released, and he lived for another two weeks after being released. He had suffered his first stroke in November of 2001, 23 years ago, after which his recovery never quite manifested. And then Shayan writes, my mother, and I added the name Raunak Ara Amin, devoted herself to caring for him until her death last September 2023. She took a posting in Bangkok during 2010, 2016, and presumably there was a treatment, but Farouk Amin did not take off. And then my points. I saw, the first point I want to make is I saw Farouk's lifeless pictures posted by Amir Hussain in our group, WhatsApp group, and was struck by how helpless human beings can be and how helpless he was. Something we don't realize. The person who was one of the most eloquent in the college, for the last 23 years of his life, he spoke with great difficulty and later could hardly speak. He was very intelligent and of high intellectual capacity, of impeccable integrity, highly well-read, very smart, quick-witted, humorous, and there are others who can add to that. His favorite characters were Greek tragedy heroes. He majored in English. Little did he realize, nearly a third of his life he would be incapacitated, a tragedy hero himself. He was laid back and never cared to be a hero, but he had hunger for knowledge. Sanam and Shayan, I will address you now. There is tradition based on which we can expect the Lord has raised him sinless. Tradition goes like this, that if somebody dies after long illness, and your mother also had similar destiny, uh, the, the persons die sinless. And we have high hopes in the Almighty in regard to that. And since I addressed you, let me add that you can do few things, 6 things for both parents and grandparents. I knew your paternal grandfather and grandmother very closely. You can pray for them, obeying Allah and then praying. The obedience comes first. The dua, number 1. Number 2, sadqa jariyah, ceaseless charity, helping people or helping some institution that will bring ceaseless blessings to your parents and your and the previous generations. So number 2, sadaqah, charity. Number 3, pay off their debts if they have any. Debts of even the martyr is not forgiven, as per one authentic hadith. Pay off their debts. Number 4, settle inheritance amicably. Number 5, take care of those whom they loved. It could be relative, it could be non-relative, whom they loved. উঠা বসা করতো যাদের সাথে, পছন্দ করতো, তাদের খবরাখবর নেওয়া। সাহায্যের কথা বলা হচ্ছে না, খবরাখবর নেওয়া। সাহায্য তো অবশ্যই চলে আসে যদি তাদের প্রয়োজন পড়ে। And number 6, take care of their relatives who are your relatives. Dua, charity, debt, inheritance, taking care of those they loved, taking care of their relatives. Your prayers and actions will be conveyed to them in the form of provision of Alam Barzakh. They are now in the world called Alam Barzakh. Alam Dunya is this world. Alam Arwa is the world of souls. From there we come to the womb of the mother, and then to the to this world, and then from there we go to Alam Barzakh. We need provision in the womb of the mother, which is different from the provision that we get in this dunya, and the provision in the world of Alam Barzakh is again different, and that a man gets based on his good deeds and the prayers of his near and dear ones that are sent to him. And as long as you're alive, you can maintain that relationship, one-way relationship. And that is the way to say, I love you, mother, I love you, father. You have that ability, tawfiq from Allah, to convey your blessings as long as you're alive. And when the blessings are conveyed to them, I heard from a mufti, your name will be uttered before them, will be mentioned before them. So they will know who sent it. And so now it doesn't make a difference whether Sanam lives in Australia and Shayan lives in Bangkok and could not take care of father living in Dhaka. You can take even greater care of them now. They need it. As they need it in dunya, they need it even more in the next world. And whatever you do is sadqa jariyah for them. That means ceaseless charity. You are ceaseless charity for them. My earliest memory, we reported to the college on February 1, 1966. This was possibly the second day or the third day, morning PT, physical training. It was dark outside. I got ready on time, and I was moving through the second floor of Khalid House, now Khalid House, West House. And I came to the next room or the following room, and Farouk Amin was getting ready. He was late, and everybody had fallen in. I was going to join them. I don't know why he did it, intentionally or not. I never asked him. He called me to his room. He was getting ready. He was fastening his shoes. I mean, the lace of his shoes, Kate's, and he started a conversation with me, so that I am also late. He's late. I'm also late. So two of us are late. So we go, and the whole house has started their run. We are late, and the housemaster, Khalid sir, sees us, and he calls Mr. Tamizuddin, the PT instructor, to give us punishment, and that was hands down. I think about 5 minutes. It was very difficult for me. So that's my earliest recollection. I never had any grudge against him. I admired his intelligence, and there's so many memories. As I said, I have to shorten. So many of you will talk. I'm on point number 8 now. So out of 28 are gone. The last memory is he asked me. He and me were in a room in Khalid House. By then it was Khalid House, and we were about to pass out in 1 or 2 months, I think, few months. Uh, he asked me, "What do you want to be in life?" I said, "I want to be president of Pakistan." I said very casually, and he said very casually, "What did he say?" He said very casually, "I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised." It didn't happen. You will understand why it didn't happen, why I could not pursue a political career. Point number 9, our friendship continued. We are out of the college. He visited my home in Mohammadpur. His home was on the other end of Dhaka, Moti Jheel colony. And he went to English department. I went to economics department because I wanted to be president of Pakistan. This was 1970. But then, Allah had other plans. March 27, 1971. There's something that happened before, a couple of months before that, I'll mention that later, which ensured that I never become president of anything in life. I'll mention that later. So March 25, 1971, crackdown. I think it was Operation Searchlight or whatever the name was in Dhaka. And mass killing in different places. You know the stories. And the curfew continued until March 27. It was lifted. Badrul Haq was there with us, and he came from Pakistan. He was studying in Pakistan. Badrul Haq is cadet number 10. And if I'm making any mistake, Badrul can always correct me. 27th March, curfew was lifted for a couple of hours, and my father decided to move us from Mohammadpur, which was non-Muslim majority, Urdu speaking mostly, and we moved to Dhanmandi. My father's friend had a house, the upper floor, had an office actually, 3-storied office. The upper floor was vacant, was the rest house actually. He said, move here. That's not safe place for you. He was Urdu speaking. He was Pakistani, not from Bihar. So we moved there. And we avoided, possibly we avoided bloodshed. Or through that, Allah Ta'ala saved us. Because on 28th of March, the Urdu-speaking people came to attack our house. And our neighbors on the right and our neighbors on the left, they came to stop them from looting our house and burning our house. They were Urdu-speaking on both our sides. And from other areas, Urdu-speaking people, or we say Biharis, they came. But they were stopped by Biharis. And how do we know about it? Faroque Amin reported. He went to visit us on 28th of March. He saw this. He couldn't do anything because he was Bengali. And he reported to us. At the end of the War of Liberation, I decided, I thought about it and then decided not to mention this. But then last night, suddenly I thought, no, I should mention it. Whatever may be the outcome, or whatever may be the thinking in you. Because his daughters are here and they have to know him a little better. And this is tied to a bigger picture. That's why I'm mentioning it. At the end of the War of Liberation and the genocide in Bangladesh, Faroque was captured as a collaborator, which he was not, because I knew him. He used to come and visit me every other day. We had moved from Dhanmandi to Shanti Nagar, Siddheshwari. Badru knows it. And Farouk used to come and visit. And by the actually after HSC, I was given by a doctor, LMF doctor. I was given injections, 50 plus, and other medications, which had a terrible reaction on my nervous system. So much so that I could not study for the next 6-7 years. I could not read 5 minutes, talk 5 minutes. That happened right after HSC. What happened? You have TB, tuberculosis. Gave me streptomycin injection, which was banned in many parts of the world at that time. And later on, it was banned throughout the world. It's not used anymore for even those who have TB. I did not have TB. So I was incapacitated. And Farouk Amin used to visit me during the entire War of Liberation. And I knew he was not a collaborator. But you know, people can, in Bangladesh, it happens all the time. They can tie you to something you never did. So many people are in the jails of Bangladesh, innocent people, for murder even. So he was captured, I think, a couple of days after, the War of Liberation ended on December 16. And our neighbor downstairs, we used to live with upstairs, our neighbors, they had youth. There were 3 youth. They became overnight freedom fighters, 3 or 4 youth. Overnight, they became freedom fighters. They were all along with us. They had guns. And one of them told me, Farouk is captured. He's in a camp. Something will happen to him, obviously. And you know, in those days, it so happened that, and I heard from one of our ex-cadets, we would take Biharis to the river, shoot them, throw them in the river, one after another, one after another. I mean, it's not blaming any party over others. Both parties are at guilt. And that judgment will take place on the day of judgment. I'm not getting into this. Simply what I'm trying to say is that killing somebody cold-blooded was nothing in those days. What would have happened to him, we cannot make that conjecture. Anything could have happened. But fortunately, I came to know from this neighbor who became a freedom fighter overnight. And I told him he had guns in his hands, and he had he had connection since he knew where he was, Farouk Amin was. I told him, "Can you please take me there?" He agreed to take me, and at the appointed hour, I was taken there. I said I will meet the camp commander, and and Badrul Haq also went with us. Am I right, Badrul? Yeah. So we met the camp commander, and fortunately for us, he was an
Pagla
educated
Samad. He was Pagla Samad.
Pagla Samad,
Captain Samad, yeah.
Captain Samad. Fortunately for us, he was an educated person.
And the camp was in Dhaka Neon.
Where was it?
Dhaka
Dhaka?
Neon sign.
Oh, neon sign. Okay.
Yeah.
So fortunately, he was educated, sensible. He knew about cadet colleges. So we introduced ourselves as coming from such and such cadet college. And he knew English. So that was helpful for me because I'm a little more eloquent in English than in Bengali. And I tried to reason out with him as to why they should not kill him. And I first and foremost, I said that I know for sure he is not a collaborator. I'm such and such, and he used to come and visit me. I was sick. He used to come and visit me nearly every day. So you have the wrong person. Why should he believe me? That he listened to me at least. And the only thing I remember, other thing that I remember out of the hour or so that we spoke to him is that, see, if you kill him, you will be depriving this new country of an asset. And this country needs assets. And you cannot have a better asset than him. And I don't know in how many words I said that, but Budrul later told me that he was listening to you the entire time that you spoke. He was listening to you with rapt attention. And you know, when you become aroused with emotions, you become very eloquent. And finally, he agreed to release him. And he said, "Bring his mother or father. I want to release to his guardians." We went and got his mother. She came, released him, and it so happened that one of my uncles, he used to do TV program in those days, PTV, Pakistan TV. He was also picked up, and he called me from inside. He saw me getting down, and in front of the camp commander, somebody came and said, "Who is Abdul Hamid?" And the camp commander said that people seem to know you here. I said, "I am Abdul Hamid. Your uncle wants to talk to you." And then finally, the camp commander released my uncle also. So that's the second point. Sorry, the ninth point I wanted to mention, that he underwent, I don't know what happened inside that camp, but what I found later on, and now I'm on point number 10, what I found later on is he was a changed man. He was deeply religious before. He was not so. He was boisterous. He was not so after that experience. Next point, I became a means of him being released. It's from Allah. I don't take any credit whatsoever for that. But I had opposed him for something he badly wanted to do, but that would not have been good for him. I was surprised he did not hate me for that. And that was his greatness. And that's the reason why I mentioned this. And point number 12 is this opposition from me, I think, further changed him. Point number 13, he was also of great benefit to me when in 1974, one day, the shaitan caused a thought inside me, there is no God. And I was deeply involved in religion, because I tried all sorts of medication and going to Pete Shive and all different types of medication. Nothing helped me. And I was living a very regimented Islamic life. And I decided not even to marry, to totally devote myself to Allah. And, with pain continuous in the head, couldn't read 5 minutes or talk. That created a rebellion inside me. And it manifested with shaitan causing the thought inside me that there is no God, Allah nahi. That created a commotion in my heart. If there's no God, then in whom do I seek help? In this condition, when I'm not getting help from any doctor, I was in tremendous turmoil. The person I thought of going to, Badul, was in Russia, Soviet Union in those days, studying. I had gone, I came back. I couldn't because of my neurological condition. Came back after a few months. The person I thought of going to was Faroque Amin. He was away from religion to some extent by then because of that, what I mentioned earlier. But who else could I go to? And he could not help me much. What can you help? What sort of help can you render to a person who does not believe in or who thinks there is no God? He said, but he questioned me like this. And that was his intelligence. What if there is no God? What will happen to you? Why are you worried? I said, if there is no God, then from whom do I seek help? Then he said, okay, let me take you to this place. He took me to a mazar, shrine. He thought that maybe I'll get some solace in my mind. His knowledge of Islam was also limited in those days. And mostly he was in cadet college. And what religious education do you get in cadet college? So he took me there. I don't know what happened, what transpired, but one thing I did not do was I did not leave prayer. My guess is that caused Allah Ta'ala to take me out of that turmoil. After 2 days, I continued with prayers. I did not leave. I think if I would have left prayers, the shaitan would have swept me aside down the gutters of the world. And in 2 days, the thought was over. And the other thing, I said, I will not marry. I was in deep religious regimentation. He told me, he realized, I think he realized. He said, you see, marriage and sex, these are intrinsic to human beings, and you cannot deny them. You'll be causing yourself harm that will lead to self-destruction. And that statement changed my life. I'll not get into the details, but it was tremendous releasing moment for me. I slowly came back to normal life. Not live in prayer. That's not what I'm implying, but not being stuck to highly regimented life that I wanted to lead, that the saints of the earlier days used to lead. So that is, I don't know what I did, what Allah Ta'ala caused me to do for him, but this is what he did for me. He finished his education. He was not an exam-oriented person. I'll study for the exam. He studied, but he studied for knowledge. And as a result, he was intellectually and knowledge-wise far superior to those who did much better than him in the exams. He's far superior. He taught English at a government college for a few years in Tangail, and then he got selected to the BCS cadre, and he opted for foreign service. Intellectually, he was of much superior caliber compared to his colleagues and seniors. I knew his contemporaries. They were all from my batch. I mean, not from cadet college, but from other cadet colleges, and I knew them basically, not the superiors, but I have an idea from seeing other people who were superiors. He was of high intellectual capability, and I would say one of the best to serve the ministry or the government. But he was in the foreign ministry, but he was not a diplomat type. He was outspoken. He was posted in Paris. It suddenly came to my mind last night. Actually, what came to my mind was the French president at one time, the famous French president, Charles de Gaulle, came to my mind when thinking of Faroque Amin, who used to say, like Napoleon, I am France. In spite of his outspokenness, we expected him to be an ambassador and possibly foreign secretary of the People's Republic of Bangladesh. Allah had other plans, and his plan is the best. It took away one of my closest friends, and I fondly hope and fervently desire took him away in a sinless condition. I requested 9 folks who are doing Hajj this year to pray for folks one-to-one. I sent them messages. Some of them responded. He died in the best days to Allah, the first 10 days of this month. May Allah grant him eternal peace and bliss in the highest place in paradise. I could write a book on him, or I can, if I want to. So Badrul, and then maybe Amir Hussain. And let me tell you, Ronak and Shayan, whenever you want to speak, after listening to your uncles or in between, please raise your hands and you can speak.
Hamid, Shayan আছে এখানে?
হ্যাঁ, আমি দুজনের নাম বললাম।
হ্যাঁ, Shayan is present.
দুজনের নামই বলেছি আমি।
না, ও আছে এখানে, প্রেজেন্ট আছে।
আমি সেটাই বললাম তো।
ও ছিল একটু আগে।
Hamid, one of Farouk's daughter is on her mother's telephone, Ronakara's phone. Bhabi's name was Ronakara. আমার মনে আছে।
Yeah. The same number she carries still now.
Yeah. Okay.
তো বদরুল, তুমি যদি বলতে চাও, I'm sure you have a lot to say.
Hamid, surely I have so much to say. And I remember we spent a lot of time together with you and Farouk. And we used to have big debates sometimes, but he was a very outspoken man. I'm really disturbed, Hamid, this time. I really cannot speak a lot. I don't know what happened to me because actually I wanted to describe that event after the War of Independence, which you have very eloquently described. And Farouk was let go from the clutches of those. I think I was able to understand why it happened. Because Farouk was too much of a practicing Muslims, and he used to wear pajama Punjabi and tupi, and he used to go to the mosque every prayer time. And people in the colony, he was living in Matijil colony, they noticed it and they thought, wrongly perceived, that he's a Rajakar or something, he's a supporter, which he was not. So I just wanted to add this. I think Hamid has said everything about him. What a nice person. I'll just say a few words about his straightforwardness. I remember in one of those holidays, we were traveling home, and whoever were from this side of Jamuna, we used to travel by train and then by, what do you call this, sea link, and come on the other side and then take the train again. So when we were in the steamer or ship, there were a few Pakistani officers of the ranks of captains and lieutenants, young people. And Farouk targeted them, and he was speaking eloquently, all, speaking. It was a fact, actually. They were speaking about their bad manners and whatnot. And those people are looking at him, and I think Tanim, Alauddin Chaudhry, we were with him, and we tried to stop him from saying these things because he was very eloquent. And they were looking at him. So we thought that something might happen. So we took him away to the other side of the ship. And somehow we were able to stop him. He was very eloquent. He will speak whatever is in his mind. And he was always saying one word: corrupt people. Corrupted people. So somehow Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saved him and us from these people. And I was thinking that when we come to the other side, when we come to the shore in Sirajganj, what was it? My memory is betraying me.
Aricha,
They
Aricha,
might come back to
Aricha.
us. Aricha. No. That was Jamuna. This side was Sirajganj. And what
Oh,
was the other side? Anyway,
uh,
anyways, we thought there may be some repercussion, but luckily, Alhamdulillah, nothing happened. And we quietly slipped into Tanim's. Tanim used to have one full compartment to him, which was because his father was in the railway, and he used to travel in there. So we quietly slipped into that and closed the room. So nothing happened, actually. I have so many things. I remember so many things about him. Maybe Sanam. Is it Sanam on the
Sanam.
Rana Bhabhi's phone?
Oh, it is Shayan.
Is the youngest girl? Youngest daughter?
Shayan.
I remember my fond memory. I remember them in, maybe she will remember the year. They were my guests in Abu Dhabi because they were flying to Bangladesh through Abu Dhabi, and they were very little ones. They especially this girl which I see, this lady. Sorry, she was I think a very very little girl.
1999.
1999? Yeah. She was maybe about 5, 6 years old. I don't know. 6, 7, 8, I don't know. So that was my
She was 8.
last meeting with him. And he brought all sorts of huge cherries, from Iran. Carried all types of fresh fruit, just picked from the tree. And that was his friendship and love towards us. And we had a good 1 night and 2 days together, and that's it. After that, I never met him, and now he's gone. It really makes me sad. I am Hamid. I am not organized. I cannot.
I understand.
I don't know what happened. I mean, about a few months back, 2 of my brothers died in
Yeah.
in a time of about 2 months, I was really shattered. But this time, I don't know, Farouk. You were so close to me. I'm not able to speak a lot, Hamid. You will please, oh, excuse me, and I
You
will
can
end.
speak. You can
And
speak again later on. Something.
I always pray for the departed soul of Farouk Amin. He's always with me, whether he's not here or not. And you too, little girl, grown up now. You are all in my prayers. Bhabhi is in my prayers. I was very close to Bhabhi. And your elder sister, who is a doctor, I think. I'm really confused now. Please excuse me. I can't speak anymore. Thank you very much.
If something comes to your mind, you can speak again later on. There's no problem.
Thank you.
এরপরে আমি আমির হোসেনকে রিকোয়েস্ট করব, she is doing PhD in human resources. ওকে, আমির হোসেন। এরপর শাহজাহান স্যারকে দেখতে পাচ্ছি, আমাদের বদরুল শাহজাহান স্যার ইজ হিয়ার, ফিজিক্সের। তো উনি আমির হোসেনের পরে বলুক, ওনার মেমোরিটা আর একটু খুলবে তাহলে ইনশাআল্লাহ। আমির হোসেন।
আমি আর কি বলবো, তুমি তো অনেক কিছু বলেছ ওর সম্পর্কে, বদরুল বলল। আমি তো শুধু এটুকুই বলবো, মাত্র 12 থেকে 14 দিন আগে আমি ওর সাথে একটা ছবি নিলাম। আমি ওটা পোস্টও করলাম আমাদের ফার্স্ট ব্যাচে। এখন সে নাই। তার 2টা মেয়ে আছে। এই 2টা মেয়ের সাথে আমি মোটামুটি যোগাযোগ রাখি, প্রায় প্রতিদিনই কথা হয় ওদের সাথে। আর আমি শুধু এটুকু বলতে পারি যে আল্লাহ তাকে বেহেশতে নসিব করুক। আর কি বলবো, এটাই এখন আমাদের সবার বলার আর কি, বলার এবং করার কাজ হলো এটাই, যে ফারুক আমিনকে
আমি
আল্লাহ।
তালিম হালকায় আছি।
থ্যাংক ইউ অল।
স্যার, আপনি ফারুককে মনে রাখতে পেরেছেন? আপনি তো ছিলেন 1 বছরের কম সময়, ক্যারেট নাম্বার 5।
Assalamu alaikum to all.
আপনার হাউসে না?
না, ও ওয়েস্ট হাউসে, খালেদ হাউসে ছিল, এখন ওইটাই খালেদ হাউস। আমি তো ইস্ট হাউসের হাউস মাস্টার ছিলাম। অ্যান্ড তুমি সব কিছুই বলেছো আলহামদুলিল্লাহ। যে আব্দুল হামিদ, শেখ হামিদ, তুমি যে কানেকশন রাখছো আমাদের সঙ্গে এবং কমিউনিকেট করছো, এবং এই যে তুমি হালাকা যে করো আর কি উইকলি, এবং প্রত্যেক হালাকায় যখন দরকার এ ধরনের প্রোগ্রাম করো এবং আমাদেরকে ইনফর্ম করো, সেই জন্যে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ তোমাকে। থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ। অ্যান্ড this is such a big coincidence today, the Yom Arafah.
Yes,
and
sir.
you have brought back all the Quranic and Hadith examples from the very beginning of the religious point of view, and then praying for Farouk Amin. Excuse me, as Badrul said, my memory is also slowing down, and many things I am forgetting, names in particular. So please pray for me as well and my family. And so Abdul Hamid and all of you who have joined and who have from different parts of the world, pray for us as well. Pray for Farouk Amin for the Maghfirat. Abdul Hamid conducted very good prayer with all the background. I don't have much to say at this time, but the only thing I mentioned, as you know, I mentioned the other day, throughout my life, with all the institutions that I have gone through, and I'm teaching here at the University of Memphis in Tennessee, USA. Have not retired yet, planning to. I don't know I have two PhD students working under me. They're from Bangladesh. And I'm telling them either you graduate or I graduate. So anyway, that's a joke aside. That cadet college and you folks, first batch, second batch of cadet college, very dear to me. And the other cadets that you have made the connection and continue to connect all of us together is remarkable. I appreciate that. I'm very thankful that you are able to do this, and you hope and pray for you, and pray that this kind of communication continues. Prayers, dua, hadith, in the very aspect of a religious Islamic point of view is wonderful. Alhamdulillah, 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 and pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all of us. And this is the best date for prayer as well among all other days. Okay, inshallah. I don't have much to say, but let's pray.
Thank you very much, sir. স্যার ছিলেন আমাদের কলেজে 6 মাস 1 বছর ফিজিক্স পড়াতেন।
One year.
1 বছর, 1 year ফিজিক্স পড়াতেন ইস্ট হাউসের হাউস মাস্টার। আর ফারুক ছিল, আমি ছিলাম ওয়েস্ট হাউসে। পরে আমি অবশ্য ইস্ট হাউসে গিয়েছিলাম 3 মাস 4 মাস পরে। তো স্যার বেশি দিন থাকতে পারেন নাই, তারপরে রাজশাহী ইউনিভার্সিটি জয়েন করলেন ফিজিক্স ডিপার্টমেন্টে, এবং তারপরে উনি যে আমেরিকায় আসলেন, তারপরে আর এখানে জীবন কাটিয়ে দিলেন। হি ইজ অ্যাবাউট 88, am I right, sir?
No, 82 হবো আর কি।
82, আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, 82।
দোয়া করো যে 88 পর্যন্ত থাকতে পারে।
May Allah Ta'ala grant you longer life than that. Allahumma ameen. Allahumma ameen. So Galaxy S8 এ কে আছে? প্লিজ আইডেন্টিফাই ইয়োরসেলফ, কারণ আমি খালেদ স্যারকে দাওয়াত দিয়েছিলাম, উনি আছেন কি না এটা বোঝার চেষ্টা করছি আমি। গ্যালাক্সি S8 এ কি খালেদ স্যার? ওয়েস্ট হাউসের হাউস মাস্টার। ফারুক আমিনকে চিনবেন, কারণ উনি আমাদের প্রথম পানিশমেন্ট দিয়েছিলেন। আচ্ছা, খালেদ স্যার মনে হয় আসতে পারেন নাই। Anyway, he expressed his condolence through a message. I informed him, and he prayed for Farouk Amin, and that is what is needed. তো এরপরে আমি রিকোয়েস্ট করব, শায়ান এন্ড সানাম, তোমরা যখনই বলতে চাও হাত উঠাবা। রোকেয়া যদি থাকো, I'll request the Lieutenant General Aminul Karim, because he saw Farouk Amin.
Assalamu alaikum, Hamid bhai and Sajan sir. Sir, আপনাকে আমি পাই নাই। I joined in on 1st July 67, fourth intake of Russia Cadet College. First I joined in the East House, and then I was moved to West House when Sulaiman Kayani came, and I got Farouk Amin bhai as our dormitory leader or flight commander.
Flight commander.
Yeah, flight commander. I remember that. And he was a little casual, all right, about life. But man, with, as Hamid bhai said, with he had deep knowledge on various subjects. He used to study like anything. A voracious reader he was. He used to read all kinds of books. And then he left after about 2 years or so, because we had probably 2 or 3 years with the first batch. They left in 1970. Yeah, about 3 years, 3 or 2.5 years. And that was the best batch so far, I think, in Russia Cadet College. All luminaries and all have excelled in their life, anywhere they are born, starting from the army and academics. And Farouk Amin was one of the best officers in the foreign ministry. Bad luck was that this Athropit took him over. And uni যখন, I still remember clearly, he was in the English department and I joined English department. So I found him in the English department of Dhaka University. And we had good time. We discussed many things. He joined foreign ministry, I joined army. And when I became the military secretary to the president at Bongo Bhavan, we used to invite the people above DG level, joint secretary and above. They used to be invited on the national day. So Faroque Amin Bhai used to be invited, and he used to come walking, slowly walking with some stick or something else, or with some help. By that time, he did not go into the move into the wheelchair. And at looking at me, he used to feel so good about me. He used to look at me and he was so happy to see his younger brother is conducting the entire program of the National Day on behalf of the President of Bangladesh. He used to be so happy about me. I used to feel so good about it. That he's my elder brother and he's feeling, but he can't express it. I could look at his face. He was so happy to see his younger brother who's conducting the whole show. And I was so impressed. But then, well, he could not speak out what he's thinking. But from his facial expression, I could make out that he's so happy to see his younger brother is here. And then gradually he deteriorated. He used to come to the Orca iftar quite a good number of times, I remember. Then he used to come by wheelchair. We used to take care of him and make him sit in the front chair or front table. He could not express much. Very, very sad. He moved out to Director General. In fact, that is the post for an ambassador. Only because of his sickness or his illness or his ailment, he could not be posted out as an ambassador. But from DG onwards, you become a full-fledged ambassador to a good country. But because of that problem, he could not be. I heard what Hamid Bhai said about his becoming a collaborator. I think these are all bogus. Somebody want to victimize him. Bad luck. It was that time was a very bad time. And self-styled freedom fighters came up, and they used to victimize anyone if they wanted to. They felt like there was no command and control, no discipline, and no centralized control. Till the time Sheikh Mujib came back, then he tried to control the situation. But well, things could not be controlled to that extent. I feel bad for him because I met him couple of many times, many number of times. At Dhaka University in Khalid House. In Khalid House, he used to join in the cultural programs, core curricular activities regularly. In debates, in dramas, he was so. I would say he was so well versed in English literature, English poetry, and in philosophy, and you name anything. He was a versatile genius. Just let me put in one word. He was so eloquent. He was so fluent. He was so extempore type. He could speak on any subject. That's how we remember. But I can say he would be a little late in some of the programs. That's fine. We take that very kindly. That was it. That was his way of doing things. আমি শুনলাম দুই মেয়ে আছে, এটা আমি আগে জানতাম না, আসলে আমি জানতাম না। বঙ্গবন্ধু যখন দেখা হতো উনি খুব খুশি হতেন, আর ওসব উনি তো কথা বলতে পারতেন না। I used to feel so bad, so remorse about it. But I'm sure ওনার দুই মেয়ে খুব ভালো করতেছেন. One of them is doing PhD in human rights and the other one is a doctor or something like that. So sad. আমি একটাই কথা বলবো, আমি যতটুকু হাদিস কোরআন তো ভালো বুঝি না, আমি একটা কথাই বলবো, যারা এই ইলনেস সাফার করে for long prolonged time, they have their rewards. Allah has his rewards awaiting for him. I'm sure about that. My mother died of stomach problem. She suffered from stomach trouble throughout her life. But there is saying that one who dies out of the stomach problem, he's considered a shaheed after his or her death. And I'm sure Faroque Amin Bhai will go up to an exalted position in the Jannatul Firdaus. That's what I strongly believe. And I pray to Almighty Allah, please grant him Jannatul Firdaus. And please grant the solace, what should I say, the natural life to her daughters, to his daughters. And una bon মেয়ে বেঁচে আছেন না, who
বোন
took care of
কয়েকটা বোন
him at the last,
কয়েকটা বোন
took care of him. So
Yes.
sad to hear that. And আমির ভাই খুব ওনারা খোঁজ খবর রাখতেন। আমির ভাই নিজেই অসুস্থ, he is very sick. আমির ভাই is very sick. May Allah give you a complete cure and long life. আর কি বলার আছে? এখন আল্লাহর কাছে দোয়া করা ছাড়া আর কি করার আছে? এবং আমিন ভাই যেটা বললেন যে সদকা করতে হবে, দান খয়রাত করতে হবে, এই ছাড়া তো আমাদের আর কিছু করার নাই। আর আমরা কালেকটিভ দোয়া করবো। কালেকটিভ দোয়ার strength is very strong. It reaches to Allah very straight way. And dua from the children, there is no barrier between her or him and the Allah. There is no barrier at all. If I pray for my mother or my father, there is no barrier in between. It goes straight, really hits the Allah. He takes it. So আমি আমাদের দুই মেয়েকে বললো তোমরা বাবার জন্য দোয়া করো। কোন ছবিটা লেখা আছে তো, তোমরা তোমাদের যে সন্তান রেখে যাচ্ছ তাদের দোয়াটা কাজে লাগবে। এটা কোরআন শরীফে লেখা, আমার কথা না, কোরআন শরীফে এটা লেখা আছে। দিস রিটেন ইন দ্য হলি কোরআন। সো ইট ক্যানট গো রং, নো ওয়ে। অ্যান্ড সাদাকা জারিয়া যেটা বলে সেটা আছে, আই এম শিওর উনি নলেজ শেয়ার করেছেন। দ্যাট উইল বি, আই এম শিওর ইউ উইল গেট রিওয়ার্ড ফর দ্যাট। অ্যান্ড আমরা সবাই ক্যারেক্ট ক্লাসে ওনাদের দোয়া করবো। আলহামদুলিল্লাহ, আমি বেশি বলে ফেললাম বোধহয়, সরি হামিদ ভাই। I only pray for him. I've been praying for him for last 2 days, 2-3 days. And আজকের দিনটা শাহজাহান স্যার যেটা বললেন, সাংঘাতিক দিন, আরাফাত দিন, যে কোনো তো আল্লাহ বলছে তো 1/3 2/3 আমি মানুষকে আমি ফ্রি করে দেবো, ইউ গো টু দ্য হেভেন, দ্যাটস ইট। আল্লাহ খুব পছন্দ করেন এটা, মানুষকে ইয়ে পাপ মুক্ত করতে আল্লাহ খুব পছন্দ করেন। এবং আজকের দিন এটা খুবই আমি একটা জিনিস বলে নিই, গতকালকে আমাদের জেনারেল মারা গেছেন, গত পরশুদিন মারা গেছেন। হি ওয়াজ ব্যারিড ইয়েস্টারডে, জেনারেল আব্দুর রশিদ। He was my we are colleague at the artillery school, very qualified officer, and very sad. He suffered from cancer for last 6 months. He died in Dhaka CMH. গত পরশুদিন সকালে মারা গেছেন, and he was buried yesterday in the army graveyard. I pray for him also. And that was a very bad day. And there was yesterday was a Friday, and also the day of a master the খুব exalted mass. And I'm sure Faroque Amin bhai, this is very আরাফাত দিনটা খুব বড় একটা দিন। This is one of the best days আল্লাহ এটা প্রক্লেম করছেন, আল্লাহ নিজে বলছেন তো। I would like to free people out of sins. 1/3 2/3 we come and ask for it. If you have to know how to ask for it, that's it. I'm sure আমি দোয়া করতেছি ফারুক আমিন ভাইয়ের জন্য জান্নাতুল ফেরদৌসে যান। অনেক ধন্যবাদ আপনাদের। থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার, থ্যাংক ইউ স্যার, থ্যাংক ইউ হামিদ ভাই, থ্যাংক ইউ আপা এবং আমাদের মেয়েদের অনেক
Before
ধন্যবাদ।
the next, thank you, General. Before the next person speaks, I want to make 3 points. Galaxy te chilo Atik 11 batcher, আর Shayan হলো news editor. She runs a newsroom in Bangkok. আর বড় হলো Sanam. She is doing PhD in human rights. And the third point I want to make is on something that you mentioned, General, which is that দুটো হাদিসে আছে, দুটো হাদিসের বইয়ে একই ধরনের কথা, যে আল্লাহ তাআলা যখন কারো প্রিয়জনকে নিয়ে যান এবং সেই ব্যক্তি যার প্রিয়জনকে নিয়ে গিয়েছেন সে ধৈর্য ধারণ করে, আল্লাহর উপর সন্তুষ্ট থাকে, আল্লাহ তাআলা তাকে বেহেশতের নিচে কোনো কিছুই দিবেন না। তার মানে will not give anything less than paradise, বেহেশত দিবেন for the person who suffers because Allah has taken away his or her near or dear one or ones. তো এরপরে আমার মনে হয় তৌহিদ যদি কিছু বলতে চায়। তৌহিদ 10 ব্যাচের সিঙ্গাপুর থেকে।
Assalamu alaikum to all, and especially to Shahjahan sir. I enjoy all his talk every day. Yeah, and sometimes I want to talk to Shahjahan sir because physics was my hobby for a long time. So he's in physics, so I want to learn some more about physics from him, especially those high energy physics. Yeah. Anyways, for today's topic, all the first batch cadets were idol for us. We want to meet them, we want to learn more about them. So today we have 3 first batch cadets here. I'm very happy to meet all of them, especially Badrul Bhai. We seldom saw him. So today is an opportunity. And of course, Faroque Amin Bhai, we haven't met him, but I'm sure I'm sure he's a very nice person. And one of the things that I want to say that when when somebody suffer, when somebody suffer from long disease from Allah, it is because Allah expiate his sin. So I'm sure Farouk Amin Bhai is now in the Akhirah, and he's uh, almost all his sin has been expiated. He's walking in Akhirah without any sin. I hope so, and I believe in that, and I'm sure he will be in Jannah. And good wishes to everybody, and to the two daughters, to Farouk Amin Bhai. That's all. That's all I want to say.
Thank you very much, Tohid. We always learn from you new things. বদরুল এবং স্যারকে বলছি, আমির হোসেনকে বলছি স্পেশালি, আমাদের ব্যাচের 9 জন কিন্তু মারা গেল out of 44, which is just over 20%. 1 out of 5 is gone. এরপরে আমি I will not put anybody in the spotlight. কেউ যদি বলতে চায়, it's just introduce yourself, and you people may not know him. He was president of Orca. এই জিনিসটা হাইলাইট করা হয় নাই পর্যন্ত. He was president of Orca. And one time when I went to Dhaka, I was embarrassed. He arranged a program and made me the chief guest. How can I be chief guest in my own organization? It was held in Buet Auditorium. I did not go there for long 1 hour. I just didn't want to go. I cannot be chief guest in a program of my. He made others call me until I went there towards the end.
Today I saw Monty come join, but now he
মন্টি ছিল, হ্যাঁ মন্টি ছিল, এখন দেখছি না. একবার মনে পড়ে একটা কম্পিটিশন হচ্ছে, স্পেলিং বি. I was representing some house, and Ansari, মানে inter-house competition. So I could answer whatever I had to answer. Ansari, বুঝছো বদরুল, আনসারিকে ডিসেন্ট্রি বানান করতে বলা হলো. So he misspelled it, and the judges said, no, that's right. আমি দাঁড়িয়ে বললাম যে এটার স্পেলিং আসলে এটা বলেছে, আসলে হবে এইটা, ই একটা বলতে ভুলে গিয়েছে, DYSENTERY. জাজরা তো সেটা মানবে না. ফারুক আমিন অডিটোরিয়ামে ছিল, দৌড়ে গেল, কোনো ক্যাডেট কিন্তু অডিটোরিয়াম থেকে বেরিয়ে যেতে পারে না. ও দৌড়ে গিয়ে ক্লাসরুম থেকে ডিকশনারিটা নিয়ে আসলো, এসে জাজদের দেখিয়ে দিল ডিসেন্ট্রি বানানটা. I had memorized the whole dictionary. তারপর আরেকবার মনে পড়ে, আমি কি এটা ইমপ্রম্পচু স্পিচ দিতে গিয়ে একটা শব্দ আমার মাথার মধ্যে আসছে না. I am stuck standing there, and he mentioned that word, and that was the word I was looking for. তো কেউ মনে কিছু বলতে চাচ্ছে না. তো now would be a good time for সুজা. তুমি আছো সুজা? 12th batch জেনারেলও আছে এখানে, মেজর জেনারেল তালুকদার, অ্যাম্বাসেডর তালুকদার, যদি কিছু
জাহাঙ্গীর তালুকদার।
আমিন ভাই, আমি 7 ব্যাচে আনিস, সবাইকে অল ব্রাদার্স এন্ড স্যার, স্পেশালি সাজান স্যার,
আনিস,
আনিস 17 ব্যাচ।
তুমি
যা
back
শুনলাম,
from Australia?
আলহামদুলিল্লাহ, এভরিথিং ওয়েন্ট ওয়েল। আমরা সময় মতো, অল ফ্লাইটস আর ইন টাইম, অল্প সময়ের ভিতরে যতটুকু পারা যায়, আপাতত whatever Allah gave us tawfiq, we enjoyed our trip, mashallah. On this ফারুক ভাই সম্বন্ধে যা শুনলাম, করলাম, বুঝলাম, honestly, I mean, I didn't know anything before, but today, I mean, like I knew a lot about him, mashallah. May Allah grant him Jannatul Firdaus. May Allah grant his family, especially
Allahumma ameen. Allahumma ameen.
the children's to kids, grown-up kids, I would say, uh, on a patience and I mean, give them all goods in here and hereafter, both. শাহজাহান স্যার তো অবশ্যই মানে স্যারকে দেখে আরো ভালো লাগতেছে, কারণ আমি তো পাইনি, আমরা 17 ব্যাচে অনেক পরে, বাট আই থিঙ্ক কাপল অর্কের ইউনিয়নে দেখা হয়েছে স্যার আপনার সঙ্গে। যতটুকু শুনছি বা আপনার সঙ্গে দেখছি, দ্যাট ইট সেলফ ইজ ইনাফ টু অ্যাপ্রিসিয়েট অ্যান্ড কি বলবো মানে ফিল
Thank you.
ফিল এ
Blessed.
লট ইউ মাশাআল্লাহ।
Blessed.
Blessed, yep. Um, other than that, mashallah, I mean, Hamid bhai, this is a great, কি বলবো, মানে এই ধরনের গ্যাদারিং, I think, and today I was late, সকালবেলা মানে আজকে তো 9th জুলাই, so ফ্যামিলি সহকারে মসজিদে গেছি, আসছি, তারপরে একটু ঘুমায় পড়ছিলাম, but really, 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 I mean, mashallah, may Allah reward you and everybody, তৌহিদ ভাই সহ, তারপরে আমিনুল
Allahumma
করিম
ameen.
ভাই, তোমার মাঝে আমিনুল করিম ভাইয়ের মানে everybody's inside, really, I listen more and appreciate this, mashallah, may Allah reward you all. বদরুল ভাইয়ের কাছ থেকে তো আজকে যা শুনলাম, I mean, really, it was kind of, I knew him like that, I mean, for a long time. We didn't hear him a lot about him, and particularly আমাদের ব্যাচে তো কোনো ইন্টারাকশন হয়নি, আর আমি আউটসাইড আফটার 2000, so অর্কার্স ইয়ে তো আমার ওরকম ধরনের ইয়ে নেই, but mashallah, I mean, may Allah reward all of you and reward all of us, especially in this blessed night. I would say, I mean, mashallah, he went in a day, best days in the year. So I'm sure like Allah must have been pleased with him. It's all from me, Hamid bhai.
Thank you. Major
For all of
General
us,
Ambassador,
mashallah,
যদি কিছু
for
বলতে
everybody.
চাও, you don't have to, but if you want to.
থ্যাংক ইউ হামিদ ভাই, শাহজাহান স্যার এবং অন্যান্য সব ভাইদেরকে আসসালামু আলাইকুম এন্ড আ ভেরি গুড ইভিনিং, আফটারনুন এন্ড মর্নিং টু ইউ অল। ফারুক আমিন ভাইকে বিভিন্ন সময়ে শুধু দূর থেকেই দেখেছি। আমি বিভিন্ন পিকনিকে এবং ইফতার গুলোতে প্রায় প্রত্যেকটাতেই দেখেছি। আমার মনে আছে যে আমরা যখন আমাদের অফিসটা যখন নিকুঞ্জে ছিল, তখন কিন্তু উনি হেঁটেই মানে আসতেন, যদিও ধরে আনতে হতো। আমি দেখেছি হামিদ ভাইকে একবার ওনাকে ধরে কোনো একটা ইফতার পার্টিতে নিয়ে আসলেন, মানে ধরে উঠালেন, তখনও কিন্তু হাঁটতে পারতেন। আমার যদি মনে পড়ে এটা 2008 বা 9 হবে এরকম কোনো সময়, বাট
হুম
পরে
হুম
তো
হুম হুম।
হুইল চেয়ারেই দেখেছি। লাস্ট পিকনিকেও ফারুক ভাইকে দেখেছি, ওনার মেয়ে নিয়ে এসেছিলেন সঙ্গে, এবং আহ, এটা একটা খুব মানে অদ্ভুত বিষয় ছিল যে উনি এত অসুস্থ হওয়া সত্ত্বেও প্রত্যেকটা প্রোগ্রামে উনি আসতেন। এবং আমরা ওর ইসি গত 2 বছর ধরে অ্যাকচুয়ালি প্রত্যেক যতগুলো প্রোগ্রামেই আমরা আহ, করেছি, প্রত্যেকটাতে কিন্তু আমরা আলাদাভাবে ফারুক আমিন ভাইয়ের জন্য একজন আমাদের ইসি মেম্বার ডিটেল করেছিলাম প্রত্যেকবারই, যে উনি আসলে যেন উনাকে দেখাশোনা করার জন্য একজন কেউ আমাদের পক্ষ থেকে থাকে। আগে তো গত বছর পিকনিকে ভাবি নিয়ে এসেছিলেন, ভাবি ছিলেন, আল্লাহ ভাবিকে নিয়ে গেলেন সেপ্টেম্বরে। এই বছর পিকনিকে ভাবি ছিলেন না, তার মেয়ে নিয়ে এসেছিলেন। অ্যাটেন্ডেন্ট ছিল একজন এবং মেয়ে নিয়ে এসেছিলেন। আমরা মানে পুরো টাইমটাই ওনাকে দেখেছি এবং কয়েকবার গিয়ে ওনার পাশে দাঁড়িয়েছিও। যাই হোক, এটুকুই আমাদের স্মৃতি। ফারুক আমিন ভাই ওরকার প্রেসিডেন্ট ছিলেন এবং এবং একজন অত্যন্ত ভালো মানুষ ছিলেন, এটা তো আমরা সবাই শুনেছি এবং জেনেছি। মহান আল্লাহর কাছে আল্লাহ তার মাগফিরাত কামনা করছি এবং আশা করছি আল্লাহ তাকে বেহেশতের সর্বোচ্চ স্থান দিবেন। সবাইকে অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ। আসসালামু আলাইকুম।
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম ওয়া রাহমাতুল্লাহি ওয়া বারাকাতুহু। আল্লাহুম্মা আমিন। Sir, ये जहांगीर कबीर तालुकदार, he retired as ambassador and he was in the army. He was Major General. He was posted to Kenya. He served there for the entire COVID period, and he has been joining from the beginning of this program, April 2020. He is with us. even when he was ambassador. And he was GOC Chittagong area, and he's vice president one. তার মানে দুটো vice president আছে. He's vice president one of ORCA. This is his second year as vice president. Previously, he served in other capacities. And he doesn't need to be such a person. You don't need to give him a post to get service from him for ORCA. Even when he was GOC, একটা দিন স্যার আমি গিয়েছিলাম ওখানে চিটাগংয়ে, অর্কা হোমস আছে আমাদের ওখানে, তো অর্কার চিটাগং এর ইয়ে ছিল, এজিএম ছিল। তো তখন থেকে শুরু করে আমি পরে হিসাব করলাম যে হি ইজ জিওসি, he was with me and the others for I think 13 hours in that day, leaving all his duties. রাত্রে ওই সকালে তো অর্কা হোমসে প্রোগ্রাম হলো, অরফানেজ, তারপরে জার্ন মিটিং হলো, অরফান্সদের সাথে মোলাকাত, সাক্ষাৎ টাকাত, এটার পরে জুমার নামাজ, and the GOC was praying outside the masjid. কোনো জায়গায় ছিল না মসজিদ, outside the masjid, ওখানে কোনো জায়নামাজও নাই, কিছু নাই, and I was praying beside him. And then we had other program, and then in the evening he attended dinner Chittagong Cadet College Club, and by the time he left, and that was after I left, it was about 13 hours. He's such a dedicated soul. May Allah Ta'ala bless him and his family and his parents and his relatives eternally and abundantly for all his services he's rendering for us. কেউ যদি বলতে চায়, it's open forum, and then finally, yes, Shayan will, if she wants to say. Especially, I'm interested in knowing about her life as news editor in the newsroom. What do news editors do? We know about her father more than her, possibly herself. But whatever she wants to share, plus her career, her life, her future hopes and aspirations. তো কেউ যদি বলতে চায় বলতে পারে, না হলে Shayan is there. এই গতবার এই ইয়ের সময় জাহাঙ্গীর কবির তালুকদার মনে করিয়ে দিল, রিউনিয়নে আমি যখন ওর সামনে গেলাম, I mean, obviously he could recognize anybody instantaneously, কিন্তু এবার আমার মনে হলো একটু সময় লেগেছিল। এবং যখন সে আমাকে চিনতে পারলো, তখন এরকম কিছু করার চেষ্টা করলো, তার মানে যে you are such and such person, and I could feel that he's slowing down. তো Shayan, Shayan.
শায়ান কি কিছু বলবে? বলো, তোমার কথা শোনা যাইতেছে না।
ও আচ্ছা,
আনমিউট করো, আনমিউট করো।
হ্যাঁ, আনমিউট করতে হবে, এখন আনমিউট করতে পারবো। আরে আনমিউট হচ্ছে না কেন? এখনো হয় নাই, তোমাকে কিছু প্রেস করতে হবে ওখানে, দেখো তো। ইউ উড নো, ইউ আর এ নিউজ এডিটর। তোমার কাজ করছে না কেন? এনি হেল্প ফ্রম এনিবডি, হোয়াট শি মে নিড টু ডু?
আমাদেরটা তো করতেছে, আনমিউট হচ্ছে তো আমাদেরটা।
আমাদেরটা হচ্ছে, হ্যাঁ।
আইফোনে আছে কোথায়? সমস্যা হচ্ছে নাকি?
হ্যাঁ, ফোনের কোনো ওই যে আনমিউট করতে কোনো সমস্যা হতে পারে।
সেটা হবে কেন?
আনিস, তোমাকে একটু বয়স্ক লাগছে কেন?
আমির ভাই, আমি দাড়ি ছাড়া আমাকে দেখছেন মোস্ট অফ দ্য টাইম।
ও
আমি
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা,
এই কয়েকটা দিন আসলে মানে
শেভ করার সময় পাও নাই নাকি?
না,
ওই
শেভ করে
10 দিন
কোরবানির
শেভ
জন্য
করতে চাও না?
10 দিন করতে যাই না, ওই জন্য।
আচ্ছা,
But anyway, মানে বয়সে তো কম হয়নি হামিদ ভাই। I'm 55 now.
Only.
So, subhanallah. No, I mean, I know, I mean, physical age is really catching up. আমার মনে হয় অ্যাটলিস্ট কোভিড এর আগে এতটা মনে হয়নি, বাট কোভিড এর পরে মনে হয় যে না, ফিজিক্যাল এজটা মানে শো আপ করতেছে
এখন
মনে
আসছে।
বেশি।
হয় আরেকটা আইফোনে আছে মনে হয়, তোমাকে অন্যটা
তুমি
ইয়ে
বলো,
করতে হবে।
you are free now. Yeah.
Assalamualaikum. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ওয়ালাইকুম আসসালাম।
No, this is my mother's phone. I didn't have Zoom installed, and I apologize for my voice. I'm not well. Of course, first, I'd like to thank everyone for the time, the effort, the level of detail that everyone puts into remembering my father. I really appreciate it. I think it's a very common experience, a very human experience that, as you grow up, you learn that your parents are nuanced and fully fledged human beings, before you ever came along. And of course, I had that with my mother, but with my father, we never got that experience. Through this call and through your memories, I feel that I've gained that in a very, very singular and almost inimitable fashion. And I think on a more abstract level, having had a very unorthodox education and life with all the moving around, the bonds you all have with each other and the experience, it's very precious to experience secondhand. So thank you for that. Hello?
Yes. Are you done?
I think so. Is there anything else?
Yeah, that's too brief. What you said you had unorthodox education. What do you mean?
We lived in 6 different countries, a lot of different schools. And yeah, and I don't know, I was thinking when all of you were sharing your memories of my father, of course, I have memories from before he was ill. One of them that stands out was that he loved to read Hamlet to me. I'm not sure that he realized that age 7, I did not realize that Denmark was a real country. I thought that's where the fairy princesses were. He genuinely thought I loved it the way he loved it, and he loved reading it to me. Yeah.
And did you see him express his love? Every father loves, but some do not know how to express their love, like my father.
No, he didn't. No, he wasn't very good at expressing. I think maybe I was very sick as a child for a long time, from age 2 to maybe 5, and he was very worried, and he would take me with him everywhere. I'm sure those of you who are closer to him know that he likes to walk around, especially up around in the streets. And I would go with him always. And it's a habit I have now as an adult. Wherever I go, I will walk around as far as I can go.
In 1971, from Motijhil to Siddheshwari, about 1 mile minimum, he would walk all the time, coming to our house. So what did you study?
I studied economics. I have an undergraduate in business economics and a graduate degree in health economics.
From where?
So both in Thailand, one in ABAC, and then the second one, my graduate degree, I was with the Bangkok Post in Bangkok, obviously. And I would take the train in the morning, go to class for my master's degree, and then do the night shift at work. Yeah. We there when my mother took the post under like Guy's uncle when he was foreign secretary. She left in 2016 and I stayed behind.
Yes. And what is the career path of Sanam?
So excuse me, she started off at New Age. My mother took her herself to the editor at the time. I forget his name. This was in 2008. Sanam finished her A levels. My mother took her to the New Age offices, got her hired as a reporter, and then she did her English language or English literature, one of those things at Brack University. And then I think independent TV they opened. She was a broadcaster there for a while, and she also did another English literature or language degree, a master's from Brack. Excuse me. When we moved to Bangkok in 2010, Sanam didn't come with us. She joined us later, I think 2013 or 2014. And I think this is me being very cynical. At this point, she realized all the English degrees won't get much money in life. So she applied for a master's in an MA in human rights, and she got a very well-funded package to the University of Kent. Also in Bangkok at the time, she was working with I think labor group for Burmese migrants. And then after she got her master's degrees, she went to Chiang Mai in Thailand, where she worked for a women's Asia Pacific Forum for Women, Labor and Development. And she was there until 2022, I believe, or end of 2021. And then she got her PhD to do human rights, like a qualitative research in Melbourne, the University of Melbourne, Australia.
And she's in which year?
I think she's almost done. I think she's in her last year. She did the first, about half of it in when we were in lockdown in Chiang Mai. She was doing it remotely, and then she moved 2 years ago. I think let me just calculate it. In January, she said she has 2 years left. Yes, she has 2 years left.
And
I'm not sure how long a PhD in Australia usually is. It varies greatly across the world.
Is she introvert type?
No, I am.
No, she.
No, she isn't. I'm the introvert.
Oh, you're the introvert. I see. So
No,
what
but
do
I
you do
also
as in? Go ahead.
go on. Yes.
What do you do as a news editor?
Well, traditionally a news editor decides what is news. What all the rest of, when you pick up a newspaper, we decide what is going to be on your front page, depending on the section. So when I was much younger, I was a life editor in Phuket. So I would decide, what's going to be my cover story, what are the columns I'm running, what are the events I'm covering. However, where I work now, the print has been scrapped. So it's a website, and in Thailand, it's not a very how do you say, they weren't colonized, so there's not a huge English language reading population. So what's happening is mostly the copy comes in Thai and it gets translated. My job at this point, we recently pivoted into social media, and I'm kind of heralding that, I guess. But before that, I would decide, what are my reporters writing, what events are they attending to, who are they interviewing, what are the issues that are going on locally, globally, that we need to delve into, the angles that are not being covered by the regular string reporters, daily coverage that's already coming in. I'll probably be leaving soon, to be honest. It's news in Thailand, free speech isn't a thing. There's a patina. If you cross a certain line, you don't live very long. So not smart to stay.
I see. So your father was an extrovert, and Sanam is extrovert, and you are introvert. You're like your mother.
My mother is very extroverted.
She was very extroverted.
Oh, no. I mean, for those of you who came to see my father on Thursday, yes, there are a lot of people. But the number of people who came to see my mother, who remembered her, like, she was very out there, very sociable. Yeah. My mother wasn't an introvert, but I think if you consider how outsized and the large personality that my father had, next to him, I think anyone would be diminished just by contrast.
Your mother became a DG?
My mother was not a career diplomat. Before, she had a contract. So a DG would happen if you came from the BCS and you were in public service in the foreign service.
I see.
My mother, before she got the posting in Bangkok, does anybody remember in about 2009, Al Gore won a Nobel Prize, or before that, 2007, 2008, Al Gore won a Nobel Prize for the movie on like climate change. So about some dozens of NGOs across the world worked on that project. And one of them was Bangladesh Center for Advanced Studies based in Dhaka. I forget his name, but the professor who was in charge of it was my mother's thesis supervisor. She studied zoology in Dhaka University. She had a master's in it, and she was always trying to do her PhD somewhere or another over the years. It never quite happened. So she was a research officer there for a few years before she joined the foreign service. My mother, for all that most people seem to think that she was just a housewife, she spoke 5 languages. They both spoke 5 languages. There is, she kept my father going as limited, as unwell as he was. Just the sheer strength of will, the effort, the level of detail that she put into keeping him going for 23 years until her death. Like, it's unimaginable. But yeah, she was quite active herself. She was always doing something. The amount she had energy and verve.
Does Sanam want to say anything?
I don't think she's here.
Is Rokia there?
Oh, I did send them the link, but Fupifopa, they went to Canada on June 5th to be with their children. And that's when Sonam came to be with my father while they were away. And then unfortunately he passed while they've been away. I think just the time. And also,
okay.
I think they struggle with technology from what I've observed.
Is there any resemblance between you and Rokia?
We have the
in
same
her young
eyes.
days? Huh?
We have the same eyes. We have the same hands.
Because I saw her when she was about 10 or so, 10, 12, and I can see some resemblance. The tragedy of Faroque is this, that he was workaholic. He liked to work. And after the stroke, he couldn't. He was a person who loved to talk. He couldn't. He was a person who loved to walk. He couldn't. And the lady who took care of him, his wife, she passed away. And he was left all alone. His daughter was in Bangkok, another daughter was in Australia. So this youngest sister, I knew her when she was 10, 12 years old. She was a doctor later on.
His youngest sister, I'm sorry, uncle, to interrupt you, but his youngest sister is Bachi Fupi, not Rokia.
Oh, I see. I'm mixing up them.
Yeah, so she is
Okay.
I was asked to pass it on to Rokia. Rokia was taking care of my father, she and her husband. And my youngest Fupi, they live in the same apartment complex a few doors down, and she was there when.
Okay.
She and her
I got
son.
mixed up. What's her name?
The youngest one?
Yeah.
Well, I call her Bachi Fupi. I'm not sure what her real name is. Actually, I have it written down. Let me find it for you.
Okay. Yeah. I knew all of them, but she was the youngest. I remembered her. And I thought she's
Shahnaz.
okay.
Shahnaz.
No, I knew her. I knew her with her through her nickname, actually. Bachi. Yes. Right. So that was Farouk's tragedy. All the things he loved to do, he could not do for a couple of decades. And the person, his wife, he was deprived of her. All alone in the world. He really liked Greek tragedy. And he liked tragedy because he liked Hamlet because Hamlet is a tragedy.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
Yeah, it's a tragedy, yeah. That's it. Okay.
Inshallah. So, when are you going back?
I'm hoping, well, right now it's past midnight, so I'm hoping in the next 24 to 36 hours. I don't have a flight yet. I'm just trying to figure some things out. But I do have to get back to work. Yeah.
Okay, keep in touch with us and consider us as
Oh, Badr uncle
your
wants the story of how I was named. It's quite ridiculous because I have a
say,
boy's name,
uh,
and someone in the chat said that their grandson. Oh, Badr uncle. Oh, it's Badr uncle. So my elder sister is a Sanam, and as many families do, they like to have, the same initials for their children. And when my parents were in Japan, where I was born, because, everything must have fanfare, they sent a letter to the embassy of Iran specifically because Sanam is a Persian name. And they asked for a list of names for their baby girls starting with an S. There is a list of female names starting with the letter S, all perfectly typewritten. I think I still have the paper. And someone wrote in handwriting Cheyenne on top of it. And another name as well, but Shine was the only boy's name written anywhere on that letter from the embassy of Iran in Tokyo. And they chose that one. Everything's fine until 1998. No, 1998 February. We moved to Tehran, Iran, the land of the name. And on my first day of school, I'm told, this is a boy's name. What are you doing? I told my mother. She did not believe me. She's like, this is the letter I have. I have a letter from an embassy saying that this is a girl's name. This has been, a lifetime discussion of no, it's the boy's name. Look at all these boys. They all have the boy's name and it's my name. But yeah, my parents were both quite eccentric in different ways and very funny. And the amount of willpower both of them had. That's the story.
Please send me your WhatsApp number.
I think like this one, how do I send it? I don't know. Actually,
I sent you a text message.
Okay. Wait, so
or through email.
okay, yeah, the email. So I keep my mother's phone active and I use her WhatsApp because I don't have a WhatsApp myself.
Oh, okay.
Sure, uncle. You're welcome, mother uncle. Yeah.
Do you
so
have
yes,
Viber? Do you have Viber?
no, we use Line in Thailand.
Oh, I see.
Wait, I will put the number of this one. Wait. So I'll put the number here. Everyone can add me if you want to, and you can keep in touch.
Badrul uncle says, tell us the story if you want, but you don't have to, Badrul uncle.
Yeah, the
Thanks,
story of
Shaya.
how it was named. Yeah. So
Whose number is this?
this
Whose
is
number
this
is this?
device. This is my mother's, the WhatsApp that
Oh,
like
okay.
Amir uncle. I contact
Okay.
him
No,
and
I think I sent you a message in this number.
yeah, that was you on iMessage. Yeah.
Yeah,
iMessage is good too.
Yeah.
The
I
main
have.
issue is I take this abroad with me. So WhatsApp and iMessage work. And then I will always respond to messages, but I will not be particularly prompt because, this is not my main phone and I do have things to do. But I will always I read the emails. So the picnic in January, I saw it and I sent it to my Fupi and I made sure that Abba went and my sister was visiting then. So yeah. My mother, her life's work was to take care of my father and she always had the hope that he was going to get better and she did whatever she could. So I try to maintain whatever she was trying to do. And I think a huge part of it was attending the Orca events. She was very enthusiastic about them. She cared a lot about making sure that my father was around people who knew him and who understood him.
Can you tell us just a couple of minutes? Can you tell us about your mother's side? I know that your maternal grandfather was a minister.
Yeah, so
Beyond that, I don't know anything.
Nanamoni Sirajul Hussain Khan
Yes.
was a freedom fighter. He was a minister under Ershad. Funny thing is, he was like, I think, what is the position? Minister of Land and Fisheries, something ridiculous like that at one point. And I think he had two positions, but one of them land and fisheries. When my mother was working at BCAS, it was like an environmental research, and she learned that a lot of the laws we have in Bangladesh to protect like water bodies, to protect nature, Nanamani put up. So he passed away in 2007, February, I believe. He outlived my nanny by 3 or 4 years. My nanny was also a very interesting character. She was a government, like I think, like, I don't understand. I'm sorry, forgive me. I don't know the terminologies, but like a public college principal. And she turned down the Fulbright, which to me is insane. Who turns down the Fulbright? She turned on the Fulbright. She had a full career. She had 4 children. My mother was second of 4. Her elder brother was with the World Bank. Her sister's a doctor. My Kalu, my mother's sister's husband, also a doctor. The youngest brother, my Choto Mama, he is in Texas. My mother majored in zoology, and she loved animals. We had pets always. She always took care of the pets. She was very, like, a lot of things she learned from my Nana as well, like very regimented, very precise, very scheduled. I think that helped a lot in taking care of my father. So Nana Muni was, I think, MP for Obigunj too. His village was Banyachong. We buried my mom in Banyachong because my nani's family, so like Nawab Gate in Purandhaka, my mother was raised in Purandhaka in the house that her Nana built. Yeah, they wouldn't take, because it's all on the mothers, like we're related to that side of the family through the mothers and the mothers' mothers, so they wouldn't allow us to bury her there. So yeah, so we had to take her to Sylhet, which, yeah, I mean, we could have buried her with where my father was buried, in the, what is it, the freedom fighters, in the one in Mirpur.
Buddhijeevi, intellectual graveyard for intellectuals.
Are you sure? No.
Amir Hossein, বুদ্ধিজীবী ইয়েতে কবরস্থানে নাকি?
Yeah, that one. Yes, that one. Yes, that's what it's called. Sorry, Buddhijeevi. That's what it means. I didn't know. Sorry, my parents did not care to teach me.
ওকে দাফন করা হয়েছে মিরপুর বুদ্ধিজীবী কবরস্থানে।
Okay.
Yeah, my mother had a very interesting childhood. There's like random fabrics that Saddam Hussein gave Nana. She knew what century eggs were. They had a Chinese friend, and she had that kind of a very cultured upbringing that I feel like, as you get older, you appreciate learning these things. Yeah.
Your Badrul uncle is from Sylhet.
Yeah. Bhabhi is also from Sylhet.
And your father taught you good English?
Yes. No, she learned it from Canada.
Or from Canada?
She was in Canada.
I was never been to Canada.
No? Where did you study then?
I mean, a university in Thailand. Honestly,
Okay.
I think they just left me in front of the TV long enough. Both long, I remember watching a lot of TV with your sons. I think that was that.
Okay. But your accent is Canadian, not US.
No, it's not really. I mean, I definitely draw like a lot of words I'll pronounce in very different accents. And sometimes there's some words I like pronounce like Thai people pronounce, which is getting a bit ridiculous. But yeah, it's very much environmentally influenced.
Anyway, you speak so well.
I actually teach public speaking as a side gig.
You teach public, what did you say?
I teach debate and critical thinking to teenagers as a
Oh,
as a weekend hobby.
I see. I see. So, Cheyenne, we are there for you whenever you need us. And you would understand the depth of my relationship with Farouk. It's not possible to convey unless one experiences it. Uh, if you knew that, I wouldn't need to tell you to get in touch with me if you ever need me. I'll be there for you. All life is short anyway. You have to live your life, inshallah. And may Allah Ta'ala bless you and protect you and guide you and make you means of blessings and happiness and guidance for others.
Amen.
And also for Sanam, the same prayer, please convey to her. And we'll be in touch. And I seek permission from Shahjahan sir to close the session.
Please close the session. Just to repeat what I said, this is a very sad occasion for us. At the same time, some happiness because we are doing it on a special day and seeking Allah's, maghfirat for and please conclude with dua. And we are, I'm so moved by the presentations that you all have made, and that's why I'm sticking to you throughout these hours. And although my time is very short with Cadet College, but my memory, my attachment is very long, much longer than any other institution, much longer than even the University of Memphis, Tennessee, where I spent 45 years at this institution. But it's still my attachment to the Cadet College because, Hamid, that we built Cadet College with just the construction. We are waiting in Dhaka to see the construction completing, and Rajak is cleaning the lawn, and Tamiz is still on the ground. And that's the beginning. And that's why my attachment to Cadet College is much deeper than with any other institution, to be frank. And thank you for keeping me in contact, keeping me in touch. Pray for me because my time, is going down as well as with others.
So you started drawing salary even before you started, even before the Cadet College started?
Correct, because Principal Sayed kept me in the Dhaka office for recruitment, for an exam in headquarters and DPI building. We have a couple offices, and I was there just to get all the initial things from lab instrument to the blankets and mosquito nets and everything from the new market. We are doing while we are at Dhaka and while the college building and lawns getting completed. Contractors are still there on the ground in Sarda.
So I must have
That's why
faced
my attachment is very deep and very strong with Cadet College.
Sir, I remember Wing Commander Sayed in the interview board. You must have been there then. In the interview board.
Oh yeah. In all the interviews, all the hiring of other teachers, professors were done when I was with a wing commander in the office in Dhaka.
Oh.
All the professors were hired, and they are to be posted in Sarda after the building starts. But I was in the main office in Dhaka with Principal Sayed to do all this administrative, marketing, instrument purchasing, mosquito nets, blankets for you guys.
Sir, whatever salary you got, whatever it was, I'm sure that was a lot of money in those days.
Yeah. The cadet college, that's why everybody said, well, that's a very good place to, start a job, and that's the future. and all those good things. And yeah, I enjoyed, and I had some other plan, and that's why I had to leave.
Enjoyed as a bachelor.
That was a good time I had with the cadet college, at cadet college.
বদরুল
Meaning
স্যার কিন্তু
all
বিয়ে
over.
করেছেন, স্যার বিয়ে করেছেন ক্যাডেট কলেজ ছাড়ার পরে,
Shut up, just
মানে
immediately
ওই
after I left cadet
রাজশাহী
college.
ইউনিভার্সিটিতে, then
Went,
he was
yeah,
given a reception by Wing Commander Sayyad.
that is correct. That's correct. And that's why I'm repeating my memory with cadet college much deeper. And as you can see, I am enjoying, although it's a sad occasion, but I really, and I enjoy when you invite me to attend the meeting and get to see you again. And I have much, for you, Hamid, I must say, I've said it before, that the contact with your family, with your father, was as the WABDA director, Rasai. I had good connection with him, your father, as well as when you guys moved to Dhaka in Mohammadpur. I visited your home several times in Mohammadpur.
And Wing Commander Sayyad, after their marriage, gave them reception, dinner, etc., and then ordered them to go to the bank of Padda, all alone, both of them.
Yeah, that was nice. We in Memphis here in this house right now, we're still using the dinner set the cadet college presented to us. The dinner set we are using now in this house in Memphis, Tennessee. And the dinner set box was built by the carpentry office. What's his name? Mozim or somebody. And, yeah, and that box given to us, they're built, and the plate set, all the cutleries, crockeries put in the box, presented to us. And we have brought most of them to this country and using them on a regular basis. So the memory, as I mentioned, is, again, I'm repeating myself, is very deep in many different ways. Academically, administrative way, socially, very much connected to cadet college.
So Shayan, you can see life goes on. Your life also has to go on. And remember us at any time if we are worth remembering. I request that each one of us recite Surah Fatiha once and Surah Ikhlas 3 times, and then we will hold the remembrance session. Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Prayer and then remembrance session. Auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. Reciting Surah Ikhlas 3 times is like reciting, getting the reward of the whole Quran. And Surah Fatiha is equivalent to 2/3 of the Quran. And this obligatory knowledge, acquisition of knowledge is obligatory on every Muslim. Allah knows the reward of that. So we will, and collectively, we will convey the rewards of all our actions and deeds, individual deeds, collective deeds, and whatever the near and dear ones of Faroque Amin have been able to recite collectively. We will implore Allah Ta'ala, beseech Allah Ta'ala to convey to the soul of Faroque Amin and all our near and dear ones. Allahumma Ameen, Allahumma. لا إله إلا الله العليم الكريم سبحان الله رب العرش العظيم والحمد لله رب العالمين أسألك موجبات رحمتك وعزائم مغفراتك وغنيمة من كل بر وسلامة من كل إثم لا تدع لنا ذنبا إلا غفرته ولا هما إلا فرجته ولا مريضا إلا شفيته ولا دينا إلا قضيته ولا مجاهدا إلا نصرته ولا مظلوما إلا نصرته ولا مسلما إلا رحمته ولا حاجة هي لك رضا إلا قضيتها يا أرحم الراحمين يا أرحم الراحمين يا أرحم الراحمين اللهم أسألك من خير ما سلك منه نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ونعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذك منه نبيك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم أنت المستعان وعليك البلاغ ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. Wallah, we ask of you whatever Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam asked of you, and we seek refuge in you, whatever he sought refuge in you from. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. Wallah, give us the best of this world and the hereafter. اللهم إنا نسألك العافية اللهم إنا نسألك العافية اللهم إنا نسألك العافية. O Allah, grant us, O Allah, grant us all that is good and beautiful. اللهم اغفر لأمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم ارحم أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم احفظ أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم اهد أمة محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا واهد الناس جميعا. اللهم اغفر لي ولوالدنا وجميع المؤمنين والمؤمنات والمسلمين والمسلمات الأحياء منهم والأموات إنك موجب الدعوات برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. ربنا لا تؤاخذنا إن نسينا أو أخطأنا ربنا ولا تحمل علينا إصرا كما حملته على الذين من قبلنا ربنا ولا تحملنا ما لا طاقة لنا به واعف عنا واغفر لنا وارحمنا أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الكافرين. أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم الظالمين. أنت مولانا فانصرنا على القوم المنافقين. ربنا إننا سمعنا منادي أينا دين الإيمان أن آمنوا بربكم فآمنا ربنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار ربنا وآتنا ما وعدتنا على رسلك ولا تخزنا يوم القيامة إنك لا تخلف الميعاد. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين. يا حي يا قيوم برحمتك نستغيث يا ذو الجلال والإكرام या फातिर समावाति वल अर्द अंत वली फिद दुनिया वल आखिरा। হে পাক পরওয়ারদিগার, তুমি অশেষ মেহেরবানি করে আমাদের এই তৌফিক দিয়েছো আল্লাহ, আমাদের জন্য সুযোগ করে দিয়েছো একত্রিত হওয়ার আল্লাহ, এবং আমাদেরকে তৌফিক দিয়েছো তোমার সামনে হাত উঠাবার আল্লাহ। তোমার সামনে দাঁড়াবার যোগ্যতা রাখি না আমরা আল্লাহ, তোমার সামনে হাত উঠাবার যোগ্যতা রাখি না। একটা অপবিত্র পানির থেকে আমাদের সৃষ্টি আল্লাহ, এবং তুমি অশেষ মেহেরবানি করে আমাদেরকে তোমার সামনে সমবেত হওয়ার তৌফিক দিয়েছো আল্লাহ। তুমি আমাদের, আমরা গুনায় ভরা, তোমার সামনে কিভাবে আমরা হাত উঠাই, এটা তোমার মেহেরবানি ছাড়া কেমন করে হয় আল্লাহ। তুমি যখন হাত উঠাবার তৌফিক দিয়েছো আল্লাহ, তুমি আমাদের সমস্ত গুনাহগাতা মাফ করে দিও আল্লাহ, এবং আমরা যা কিছু আমল করতে পেরেছি ব্যক্তিগতভাবে এবং সমষ্টিগতভাবে, যা কিছু বলার ও শোনার এবং তেলাওয়াত করার তৌফিক পেয়েছি আল্লাহ, তোমার শাহী দরবারে কবুল করে নিও আল্লাহ। হে পাক পরওয়ারদিগার, তোমার শাহী দরবারে কবুল করে নিও আল্লাহ, আমাদের সমস্ত গুনাহ খাতা মাফ করে দিও এবং কবুল করে নিও আল্লাহ, এবং আমাদেরকে ভবিষ্যতে গুনাহ থেকে দূরে রেখো, যেমন পূর্ব থেকে পশ্চিম তুমি দূরে রাখো। তোমার দ্বীনের মধ্যে, তোমার দ্বীন জানার তৌফিক দান করো আল্লাহ, পুরা দ্বীনে প্রবেশ করার নিয়ত করার তৌফিক দান করো আল্লাহ, ধীরে ধীরে প্রবেশ করার তৌফিক দান করো। প্রত্যেকটা আমল যেন আগের থেকে, আগের আমলের থেকে, আগের নামাজের থেকে আরো সুন্দর করতে পারি। প্রতিটা দিন, প্রতিটা সময় যেন আমরা আরো এগিয়ে যেতে পারি পুরা দিনের দিকে। কমপক্ষে নিয়ত করার তৌফিক তো দাও আল্লাহ, উন্নতি করার তৌফিক তো দাও, সেই পথে চলার তৌফিক দান করো যেই রাস্তা জান্নাতুল ফেরদৌসে গিয়েছে আল্লাহ। দিন শিক্ষা করার তৌফিক তো দান করো আল্লাহ। আমি নামাজ পড়ি বলে তো আমরা বসে থাকি, তো একই নামাজ, যেই নামাজ 20 বছর 10 বছর আগে পড়তাম, কোনো উন্নতি নাই, জীবন আগের মতো। নবীর, তোমার হুকুম, নবীর সুন্নত, ইখলাসে নিয়ত, বিশুদ্ধ নিয়ত, কোনো খবর নাই আল্লাহ। দুনিয়া নিয়ামত তো কবুল করো আল্লাহ, কবুল করো। আমরা বহুত দূরে, তোমার নবীর সাল্লাল্লাহু আলাইহি সাল্লামের জামানাত থেকে 1450 বছর দূরে। আমাদের প্রতি দয়া করো আল্লাহ। কত কিছু দিয়ে আমরা ঘিরে আছি, বিভিন্ন শত্রু, তার থেকে রক্ষা করো। শয়তান, নফসের তাড়না, মানুষের কুমন্ত্রণা, দুনিয়ার মারাত্মক আকর্ষণ এক মুহূর্ত ছেড়ে দিও না আল্লাহ। তোমার সন্তুষ্টি অর্জনের আগে যেন পৃথিবী থেকে না যাই, একটা মাত্র জীবন যেন ধ্বংস না হয় আল্লাহ। উত্তম দিনে, উত্তম ক্ষণে, উত্তম স্থানে যেন আমরা, আমাদের রূহ ছেড়ে যেতে যায়, যখন তুমি সন্তুষ্ট, কলেমা সহ শয়তানের শেষ চেষ্টা ব্যর্থ করে দিয়ে যখন তুমি গর্বিত আমাদের সম্বন্ধে, তখন যেন যাই আল্লাহ। কবুল করে নিও আল্লাহ। রহমতের দ্বারা আমাদের ঘিরে রেখো, রহমত, মাগফিরাত, হেফাজত, হেদায়েতের চাদরে আমাদের আবৃত রেখো। আমাদের সন্তান সন্ততি যারা কিয়ামত পর্যন্ত আসবে তাদেরকে আবৃত রেখো, সমস্ত মুসলমানকে আবৃত রেখো, এবং যারা কিয়ামত পর্যন্ত আসবে তাদেরকে আবৃত রেখো, এবং সমস্ত মানুষকে হেদায়েত দিও আল্লাহ। এবং যারা আমাদের ধ্বংস করছে আল্লাহ, তুমি তাদের কপালে যদি হেদায়েত না থাকে তাদের ধ্বংস করে দিও আমাদের ধ্বংস করার আগে আল্লাহ। যদি হেদায়েত না থাকে তাদের কপালে ধ্বংস করে দিও আল্লাহ। আমাদের হেফাজত করো আল্লাহ। আমাদের পূর্বের দিনে আমাদের ফিরিয়ে নিও, ঈমান ও আমলের মজবুতি দান করো আল্লাহ। হে আল্লাহ, যা কিছু আমরা আমল করতে পেরেছি, সমস্ত কিছুর সওয়াব তোমার শাহী দরবারে কবুল করে তার সওয়াব রাসূল করিম সাল্লাল্লাহু আলাইহি ওয়াসাল্লামের রূহ মুবারকের কাছে পৌঁছে দিয়ে, তার সওয়াব পৌঁছে দিও ফারুক আমিনের রূহের কাছে। তার গুনাহ খাতা মাফ করে দিও, তার কবরকে প্রশস্ত করে দিও, কবরকে নূর দিয়ে পরিপূর্ণ করে দিও, কবরকে জান্নাতুল ফেরদৌসের বাগান বানিয়ে দিও, এবং তার সওয়াব পৌঁছে দিও আমাদের আপনজন, প্রিয়জন, নিকটজন, আমাদের বন্ধু বান্ধব, আমাদের শিক্ষক, আমাদের কর্মকর্তা, আমাদের স্টাফ, আত্মীয় স্বজন, পিতা মাতা, দাদা দাদি, নানা নানি, পূর্বপুরুষ, মুরব্বিয়ানরা তথা সমস্ত মুসলমানের কাছে পৌঁছে দিও। সবার কবরের আযাব মাফ করে দিও, কবরকে প্রশস্ত করে দিও, কবরকে নূর দিয়ে পরিপূর্ণ করে দিও, কবরকে জান্নাতুল ফেরদৌসের বাগান বানিয়ে দিও। একদিন আমরাও ওই আমাদের কবরে যাব, প্রবেশ করব আল্লাহ। এরকম না যে তারা গিয়েছে আমরা থেকে যাব, আমরাও যাব, যেন আমরা মিলিত হতে পারি আল্লাহ, জান্নাতুল ফেরদৌসে মিলিত হতে পারি সবাই, আপনজন সহ। আমাদের কবরকেও তুমি জান্নাতুল ফেরদৌসের বাগান বানিয়ে দিও, সর্বোত্তম ব্যবহার দেখিও। এবং কিয়ামতের মাঠে আপনজন সহ আমরা যখন উঠব, সেই উত্তপ্ত, অসহনীয়, অবর্ণনীয় দিনে তোমার ছায়া ছাড়া আর কোনো ছায়া থাকবে না। তোমার ছায়া আমাদের ঠাঁই দিও আল্লাহ, একটুখানি ঠাঁই দিও। এবং আমাদের দুশ্চিন্তা দূর করে দিও, হিসাব সহজ করে দিও, আমলনামা ডান হাতে দিও। মিজান যখন বসানো হবে, দাড়ি পাল্লা, নেকির পাল্লা ভারী করো আল্লাহ। পুলসিরাত যখন পাড়ি দিতে হবে, আপনজন প্রিয়জন সহ চোখের পলকে পার করিয়ে দিও আল্লাহ। এবং বিনা হিসাবে জান্নাতুল ফেরদৌসে দাখিল করো, যাতে করে আপনজন প্রিয়জনের সাথে তোমার আতিথেয়তায় রাসূলুল্লাহ সাল্লাল্লাহু আলাইহি ওয়াসাল্লামের সান্নিধ্যে আমরা চিরকাল বাস করতে পারি আল্লাহ। তাই বলেছিলাম, যেই পথ জান্নাতুল ফেরদৌসের দিকে গিয়েছে সেই পথে আমাদের অধিষ্ঠিত রেখো আল্লাহ। পাক পরওয়ারদিগার, তুমি কবুল করো আমাদেরকে। এবং যত মানুষ কষ্টের মধ্যে আছে, অভাব অনটনে, অন্নহারা, বস্ত্রহারা, গৃহহারা, দিশাহারা, পথহারা, কন্যাদায়গ্রস্ত, ঋণগ্রস্ত, অভাবগ্রস্ত, জুলুমগ্রস্ত পৃথিবীতে, সবার সমস্যার সমাধান তোমার কাছে। তুমি সমস্যার সমাধান করে দিও, আমাদের মনের নেক হাজত পুরা করে দিও, যদি তা পৃথিবীর জন্য মঙ্গলজনক হয়, আর যদি না হয় তার বদলা আখিরাতে দিও। আমাদের বিপদ আপদ দূর করে দিও, মনের গ্লানি দুশ্চিন্তা দূর করে দিও। বিশেষ করে ফারুক আমিনের কন্যারা, তার আত্মীয় স্বজনরা, বোনেরা, তাদের শক্তি জুগিও, তাদের ধৈর্য দান করো আল্লাহ। হেদায়েত করো, হেফাজত করো, রহমত করো, মাগফিরাত করো। আমাদের মধ্যে যারাই আছে ভগ্ন হৃদয়, সবাইকে হেদায়েত করো, রহমত করো, মাগফিরাত করো, হেফাজত করো আল্লাহ। আমরা সবাই ভগ্ন হৃদয়। আল্লাহ, তোমার শান মতো তো চাওয়ার ক্ষমতা আমার নাই আল্লাহ। আল্লাহ, তোমার শান মতো চাওয়ার ক্ষমতা নাই, তোমার শান মতো দান করো। তোমার শান মতো হেফাজত চাওয়ার ক্ষমতা নাই আল্লাহ, তোমার শান মতো হেফাজত করো আল্লাহ। পাক পরবর্তীকার, اللهم إنك عفو تحب العفو فاعف عنا. ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب لنا من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. يا قاضي الحاجات، يا رافع الدرجات، يا حلال المشكلات، يا مجيب الدعوات، برحمتك نستغيث. يا أول الأولين، يا آخر الآخرين، يا أكرم الأكرمين، يا أرحم الراحمين، يا راحم المساكين، يا ذي القوة المتين. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم، وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.